Hello and welcome to my report, EastMojo's daily news bulletin update. We bring you the latest and biggest happenings from East and Northeast of India. I'm Simran Bajaj and I'll be giving you the updates from Assam. We're being joined by our state correspondents. We have Irani Sonawal Lepcha from Arunachal Pradesh, Wangamna Sally Kapai from Manipur. We have uh, uh, we have Medulino Ambrosia from Nagaland, Pankaj Jungel from Sikkim, and Chandan Pandey from Tripura. So let's start today's bulletin. First, let's head on to Manipur and get the latest updates on COVID-19 from Sally. Sally?
Yes, good evening, Simran. Yeah, we have got another 31%. We have got tested positive with COVID this morning, which means now the total confirmations in our state would be 342 in total. Out of these, 64% have already recovered and being discharged from the hospital. So we have the active cases. The total active cases stands at 279 as on to this afternoon. But the one which was tested after the afternoon, we haven't received the update from the State Health Department yet. So that will be updated after 8 p.m. likely.
Okay, thank you for that update.
Yes.
And this is a report that's come from you on inmates at a quarantine center are expressing fear of getting infected with COVID-19. Now, what is this? Why is this happening? Why are the inmates from that particular quarantine center worried?
Okay. Around 129 returnees from Delhi had arrived on May 28. So they were put at the Presidency College Quarantine Center at Mokpung. This is in Gangpokpi district. Now, after the 28th, the first sample was collected on June 2nd, where on June 6th, 17 of them out of this 129 were declared COVID positive. Now, what happened was, especially the boys section, there were like out of this 129, there were 60 boys from Delhi returnees. So these 60 boys were put in one hold where with a few meters away distance. So they were like kept in one hold. So it is difficult for them to maintain a physical distancing if they are put in the one room, right? So when out of this 129, when 17 of them were tested positive, they were panicked, they were fear because since they were in the same hold, so a couple of their friends were like tested positive. So obviously they got panicked. So they requested to the authority for another retest where the resampling was happen again on June 8. Now, this samples which was collected on June 8, the inmates are yet to receive the result. And if we calculate the days, the day they arrive on 28, and if we talk about the 14 days mandatory quarantine, they have already completed 14 days quarantine by today itself. But since 17 of them were declared positive, and on June 8, another 20 of them were declared positive, which means out of this 129 group, 37 is already declared positive. So they are scared because since they don't have much facilities in the center, and especially the boys, they don't have a water supply except one hand pump where they have to collect water from there. So just imagine just one single hand pump and the 60 people are collecting water from there. Definitely they're exposed to the virus. So they are feared that they might have already infected with the virus, but they are still waiting for the results. And I spoke with the district's DMO this morning, soon after this news that come to me. And yes, he did say that the resampling which was collected on June 8 are still waiting from Chinims. So definitely, since this quarantine center, the specific quarantine center has been declared as a containment zone, even though they have completed 14 days quarantine period, the inmate has to remain in the same center until and unless the state official department declared or issued them a discharge certificate after declaring them as free from the COVID. So they will have to remain until they receive this discharge certificate from them. So yes, they are panicked, they are concerned of their health, and they are definitely praying that they will receive this the sample which was collected on June 8 as soon as possible. This is the latest report coming in from Kampokpit district. Simran.
Thank you so much for that update, Sally. Now I'll be giving you the latest updates from Assam. So through the day, Assam has reported only 34 new cases of COVID-19, out of which 15 are from Nagaon district, 6 from Golaghat, 3 from Borpeta, 3 from Baska, 3 from Sonitpur, and 1 each from Chirang, Karbi Anglong, Dibrugarh, and Lakhimpur. Now, the total number of cases in Assam is 3,319, of which 2,061 are active cases and 1,249 people have been discharged. Assam has seen 6 deaths and 3 people have migrated to other states. Now, talking about the 6th death reported from the state, it's a 67-year-old Mumbai returnee who passed away yesterday at Tezpur Medical College and Hospital. This returnee had come back to the state on May 29th. He came back with his wife via flight. This said person, the deceased person, was a cancer patient and he was seeking treatment in Mumbai. And according to reports, because the national lockdown was announced, he got stranded there with his wife. And he passed away yesterday and he's 67 years old. You can see that he has comorbidity being cancer, and he's also senior citizen being 65 plus. That's about COVID-19 status updates from the state. Also, just minutes ago, government of Assam has announced, the state finance and education minister, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, has tweeted that government of Assam has decided to waive off all fees of admission, exams, labs, excursion, registration, and prospectus, etc., for the academic year of 2020 and 21. And these will be applicable to all state university, to the state university, government colleges, provincialized colleges under Directorate of Higher Education Assam, all institutions including engineering and polytechnic under Directorate of Technical Education Assam. And the entire education process, admission process this time, it will be conducted online, and all individuals are requested for the admission process online will be for all state university, government colleges and technical institutions, and students are requested to keep scanned copies of all the required documents ready. So that's from the education front from the state. Also, in another news, so something that is going to pump up the testing capacity of Assam. A new testing lab was inaugurated today at Deepu Medical College. Our state health minister, a state health minister has tweeted about this, and it was inaugurated by Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council's chief and the MP of the area. And moving on, the big news from Assam, that is the Bagjan oil well fire incident. So as per the latest reports from ground, 3 more global experts are to be brought in. They will be reaching this state on Friday, June 12th, that is tomorrow. Now, these experts are, they include Matthew Connors, he's from Vancouver, Canada, and 2 other from USA are Anthony Steve Reynolds and Doug Dallas, both are from Houston in USA. And they'll be helping in dousing the fire at the oil well in Bagjan and Tinsukia district of Assam. Moving on, let's head on to Arunachal Pradesh and let's get the latest updates from Irani. Irani, are you there?
Yeah, hi Simran. So before giving any COVID-19 updates, I would like to give a bit of good news to the viewers that in line with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Vocal for Local initiative, Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Mr. Pema Khandu today has directed the Department of Textiles and Handloom to finalize its modalities to procure government office requirements from the local NGO, self-help group, and other society, and also the entrepreneurs, I mean the local entrepreneurs. That means all the requirements of government establishments which will be procured from the local producers, which will certainly, boost up self-sustainability. And interestingly, the Department of Textiles and Handlooms has already received an order from the Health Department of the state for bed sheets for all the health centers throughout the state. So coming towards the COVID-19 update, number of COVID-19 positive cases in Arunachal Pradesh has reached 61 with 57 active cases till yesterday, because today's bulletin is yet to arrive from the health department, and 4 have recovered. And this week itself, we have seen 3 patients, those who have recovered and have already discharged from the COVID care centers. So still, Changlang has the highest number of COVID positive in the state. Changlang is a district in Arunachal, Eastern Arunachal, and till date they have 40 cases from Changlang district, followed by 5 positive cases from Capital Complex, and 1,531 sample test results are awaited so far, and 22 people have tested positive in repeat tests, while 129 have tested negative. Simran, I also want to tell our viewers that Arunachal is fortunate enough, not only because there is no death so far in the state, but also because there is no such report of community transmission till date. As we know, as we have already seen that the patients, those who have tested positive so far, are returnees from different parts of the country to Arunachal Pradesh. Simran.
Thank you so much for that update, Irani. Now, before moving on to our next state, I would like to give you updates from Mizoram, the COVID updates from Mizoram. So yesterday, that is on 10th, 135 samples were tested, of which 9 have tested positive for COVID-19. These 9 people have 12 male and 7 are female, and they're all in the age group of 22 to 46, and 8 of them are in institutional quarantine, while 1 was under home quarantine. Now, 8 are asymptomatic, and 1 is a symptomatic patient who is an inpatient at Zoram Medical College. With this, Mizoram has 102 reported cases of COVID-19, of which 101 are active, and 1 person has been cured so far. The 1 person is the first person who was reported as the first COVID patient of the state. And that's all that we have from Mizoram. Let's head on to Sikkim, where there's some good news coming in. Pankaj, can you please brief us about that?
Yeah, thank you, Simran. So we just got breaking news as the daily health bulletin from the state health department was just released maybe like 10 minutes ago or something. So in due course of time, what we have found out is that 4 cases have turned to be negative amongst the 12 that were active as positive initially. So these 4 cases include the very first COVID patient who was admitted way back in May 22nd. He had completed his 14 days of period along with some stretchable number of days where he was kept under observation, because apparently his viral load was not coming down, was what the authorities was telling initially. Now today, last night, his first test on completion of the number of days that they scheduled it, which is beyond 14, that includes like 5 more days, making it 19 almost. So in 19 days, what they have come to the conclusion is that the person's viral load has come down and he's tested negative, but 1 more test will be conducted tomorrow or today, that is late night today, and a report for the same will be, if he turns up to be negative again tomorrow, then he'll be discharged from the hospital. Similar has been the case with another patient who's identified as patient number 6. He was a Delhi returnee, a 56-year-old gentleman, who apparently has also tested negative once again. And given this scenario, both those samples will be tested again, and probably they will be discharged by tomorrow. On the other hand, Sikkim faced the issue of backlogs from the North Bengal Medical College and Hospital for the good stretch of time since May 22. And there were over 800 plus cases that were pending for a good amount of time. That number has substantially come down to around 200 to 300 cases being pending, and all those cases will be tested here in the viral lab that has been newly established here in STNM Hospital. So among those cases,
Yeah, so
yeah,
I was
among
going to
those,
ask, Pankaj, just a second. I was going to ask, so is Sikkim now finally decided to not send any more samples to the North Bengal Medical College and Hospital?
yeah, so they're
Okay.
testing it in the viral lab here in Sikkim itself because the backlogs are supposedly not going to clear because North Bengal is already under the burden of a very wider section of population, and us adding on to the 6 lakh population from Sikkim would actually be more of a trouble to them. So given that scenario with the viral lab completely functioning now, I think Sikkim will stop sending all its samples outside. And even those samples that were in the backlog and which tested positive, 2 among them of the backlog had tested positive, identified as 2 women from South Sikkim. This was the case amongst the previous case, which made it to 7. So when that was the scenario, those 2 women identified from South Sikkim, one was a Delhi returnee, the other was one was a Orissa returnee, and the other was a Siliguri returnee. So those 2 women had completed their 14-day quarantine period, and only after that their samples were identified as positive. That was a problem that created a lot of buzz because people were worried that they had gone into home quarantine already, probably gelled around with some people, and that was a big concern to them. But on very speedy test by the viral lab here in STNM Hospital, they found out on a retest that these both patients have actually turned up negative. Okay. So taking the figure to 4, and I think there was some confusion with regards to the state figures in the even the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare showcasing Sikkim samples as being 13, which you also mentioned yesterday, Simran. So
Yes.
so that particular case, why it's 13 was clarified by the Health Director General, Dr. Pempa Chiriputya, this morning, wherein he stated that 13th sample belongs to a person who actually tested as a TrueNAT positive initially, but upon RT-PCR testing, he was found out to be negative. He is identified as one of the contacts of the Mumbai returnee patient. So he too has turned negative in a way because when his RT-PCR testing was done, he showed no symptoms of the virus.
So what was the time duration between these 2 tests?
Between the TrueNAT and the new
Yeah.
RT-PCR?
Yes,
Maybe 5
yes.
days. 5 days of
Maybe 5 days. Okay.
Yeah. So in due course of time, it was found out that, however, there are some inside information with regards to this that probably that person was suffering from typhoid because he had a history of typhoid back in Mumbai, and he had done some form of treatment with regards to the same, and somehow even some of the officials inside the hospital are claiming that it could have been typhoid that was seen as a positive in TrueNAT when the test was conducted. However that may be, but there's no clear word on the air that the person was a typhoid patient or not, because none of the health department officials are outwardly claiming the same to be it being a typhoid patient. So skipping away from all the COVID related updates, I think one particular scenario that's engulfing, which I mentioned in the live session yesterday also, was with regards to the stranded people being brought back home only on paid quarantine from here on. So we talked, that was late in the evening yesterday, and we got the information this morning from from the State Evacuation Cell State Nodal Officer, Rinjing Chongbujia, who mentioned that the paid quarantine is being offered right now because he mentioned that over 6,332 people have already been facilitated. And these are the people who were actually interested in coming back home, not now however number of people are actually being who are remaining. That includes the 11,000 odd registration that the state portal has got. Those amount of people have actually inclined upon staying back in the in their respective state where they're staying right now. So that scenario has created the platform for the state evacuation cell to at least relax on the situation right now and probably go only for the paid quarantines. Now, another reason that he mentioned why the paid quarantines are being facilitated and the free quarantine, which was initially and mostly school institutions being used as free quarantine facilities, are being freed such that school sessions can begin from July or August, however they may be. because it's an environment where the students have to come, and they might be, they might be, I think, in a weaker state to actually contract the viruses, given their age and their social distancing probably not being practiced and all that. So they want to free the free quarantine facilities, and also that creates another scenario where only those persons who have the medium to come for paid quarantine, that includes company staffs, all the central government officials who have to return, and even those workers working outside in different pharma companies and everything. If they have to be facilitated, the company has to pay for their paid quarantine. So the government is not paying or any sum of amount for those people now being facilitated back to the state. In rarest of rare cases, if there are scenario where people are unable to pay, the state government is identifying free quarantine facilities still, which can be used away from all the school institutions that are being used right now. Places which have no access to the students or people coming in also, those will be still be used as a free quarantine facility. That's all the update I have from Simran.
Thank you so much for that update, Pankaj. Now let's head on to Nagaland. And Meadow, can you update us about opening of religious places of worship? We had touched upon the topic yesterday, but let's get into depth of what will be the workings of it.
Yes, Simran. So we discussed yesterday, after the high part committee meeting that was held, which was chaired by the chief minister himself, the decision was made that the religious places and places of worship will be opened. Yesterday we have mentioned that sports complexes and other few places will also be open, but such orders have not come out. The only official order that we have till today is in regard to the opening up of the religious places, and this is in lines with the guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and they have also issued some do's and don'ts in this in lines with the the provisions given by the ministry. Although the religious places are now open, for the public, the Catholics here in Nagaland under the Diocese of Kohima, they have decided to remain in status quo and decided to keep the churches closed. Still further orders. The bishop has said that there is a need for the people to be sensitized with getting used to the new rules, getting used to the new norms, and there needs to be some preparations in this regard, which is why the Catholic churches will remain closed. Otherwise, so far the other churches have not given any comments in this regard. We are hopeful that the churches will be opened, but like the protocols and the provisions guidelines laid by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, people here will also be able to abide. A detailed story is already up on our website for reference, Simran. Also, besides that, today we have recorded, the state of Nagaland has recorded 2 new positive cases here in the state, and it has taken the state's total to 130 positive cases. And just some time ago, the minister informed that 7 of them have recovered. And also an update from the medical department said that 35 retests, samples were retested, of which 6 had turned positive, and the remaining 29, like I've mentioned, in addition to this, 7 who were tested, who were recovered today. So in addition to today's number, that is the number of 7 of them who were recovered, 29 are recovered in the state. That leaves us with 101 active cases, and all the active cases in the state are asymptomatic. And like Irani was saying earlier, here in Nagaland as well, there is no evidence of community transmission so far. All those who have tested positive, all 130 of them, are returnees from outside the state. That's it, Simran.
Thank you for that update, Meadow. And there's also a news that you've sent us today on Bethel Kitchens. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes. So there is Bethel Kitchen is a community kitchen based here in Kohima. It started functioning on June 3. Like a detailed story is already up on our website. I'm repeating myself, but this is one kitchen that was initiated by the Kohima District Task Force. So the idea on how it came about is also quite interesting, because initially there were catering parties that were providing their services to those people who are staying in the quarantine centers. Initially we had few returnees, but now it has crossed the 1,000 mark. Now Kohima itself has about more than 1,600 people in the quarantine centers. Also, not just serving to those returnees in the quarantine centers, but the caregivers, the healthcare workers who are there in the quarantine centers. So the district administration came about with this battle kitchen after some caterers who were providing their services became reluctant and pulled off from their services. So headed by a 6-member committee, the ABC Limananla, who spoke to us yesterday, and she told us that after that the district administration had to take the matter to their own hands. So with the Kohima Baptist Pastors Fellowship, churches are now coming in a very beautiful site, in fact, where almost 80 to 100 volunteers basing on a rotational basis. They're coming every day to the NBCC convention hall here at the secretariat, and they're preparing food for the people. And also not an easy task, because they have to prepare 3 meals a day: the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they are ensuring that people in the quarantine centers receive this food in time and receive it warm. So like I'm repeating, not an easy task for them, but they they are gratified, in fact, working for the people, and they're hopeful in days to come people will also continue to support them. The ABC had mentioned a lot of people have come out in supporting them, providing donations. People not just from Kohima districts, but the other neighboring places also, they've been providing assistance in cash kind and even in vegetables, coming and extending help at this time. A very beautiful time. I request our viewers to also go through the story. We've also added a couple of pictures where we see that youth are also engaged there, the mothers are also engaged there, varieties of people coming and helping them.
Thank you so much for that update, Meadow. And I would definitely request our viewers to please visit our website and check out the story. All the stories that we've discussed, all the issues that we've discussed, all of them are live on our website already. You can read all the stories in details on our website. Meanwhile, our Meghalaya correspondent is not available today, so I would like to give you a brief update on COVID-19. So, as per the tweet of Chief Minister Conrad Sangma, 5 individuals have recovered from COVID-19 after testing negative for the virus twice. So with that, Meghalaya has total 25 active cases and 18 people have recovered. And Meghalaya has seen 1 death, and total number of cases reported in the state is 44. Now let's head on to Tripura, where Chandan will give us the latest COVID updates. And then Chandan would also like to know about a hunger strike that's going on in the state today. Chandan.
Yes, Simran, thank you. Yeah. To start with, I'll give you the update on COVID. 31 more cases were reported last evening, which we got to know from the Chief Minister, who is also the Health Minister. With this, the total number of cases in our state stands at 898. So the number of people recovered so far in our state is 239, while 3 persons were transferred from our state and 2, including 1 unnatural death. So now, speaking about the hunger strike, we know that there has been a clash in between the people, Bru displaced people, and the people in Mizoram, back there in Mizoram in 1997, following which they came up here in Tripura and they settled down in North District of Tripura, around 200 kilometers from here. So now, with the agreement signed in Delhi between the government of Tripura, government of Mizoram, and the leaders from the Bru community and in front of the MHA, so the process has already begun that they will be what do I say, resettled in the state of Tripura. 12 locations were chosen by the state government. Among them, 5 locations comes under Kanchanpur subdivision, which is again in North District, where they have been living for the past 23 years. So now there has been a clash between the locals and the Bru displaced people. The government wants to settle them in different locations, since the number is very much high. Around 32,000 people will be settled down in our state permanently. So the government has chosen 12 locations. Among them, 5 are in the same area where they have been living for 23 years. Now here comes the turn. 2 communities, that is, one is Jampu Hill Mizo Convention and the other Kachanpur Nagarik Shurokha Manch. Both of them have started protesting and opposing the resettlement in the area. The Mizo Convention they're saying that since they have been living in North District, the Mizo people there, they don't want the same thing to happen here. While Nagrik Suraksha Manch, which is a community supported by the local Bengali people, they have the saying that since they arrived in this area in Tripura, there has been a series of clash between the locals and the true displaced people. So now the government has decided that they will be settled in our state. The government must and take an action. Also to add that the people living there, they have nothing to say, since they said that the government has already signed the agreement. We will be settled in Tripura. We don't know where we will be settled, but we are ready to be settled. And even if we are settled in Kanchanpur subdivision, we are the people of our country, India. We have been fighting for our right. We have been living in the camps like refugees for the past 23 long years. Now, following the COVID pandemic, we have to wait for another many years, many months maybe, probably, because the government said that within 6 months of time the plots will be sanctioned and the work for the settlement will begin. But now, since the government has started the work amid this lockdown, the land selection and the sites inspection was started by the sub-region magistrate from Kanchanpur. Following that, this community joint movement committee, which is chaired by these two communities which I just mentioned, from the from the Mizo and from the Bengali local people, Nagrik Suraksha Manch, they have set in an indefinite hunger strike, and they want them to be included in that committee which will be looking after their settlement. They have the saying that we are not opposing their settlement, but we want us to be included in the committee so that we can give our saying. We have something to say. So this is what going on right now. Also to add, Simran, a breaking is coming in that 39 more people have been released from the quarantine center. The Chief Minister has just tweeted, and he has informed that 39 people have been released from the quarantine centers. This is
Thank you so much for that update, Chandan. And this is all that we have for today. I would like to thank our viewers for taking out time and supporting us every day at the same time at 6:30. My report is live on our Facebook page, on Twitter, and on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching us. All the stories that we've discussed, as I've mentioned earlier, are live on our website or will be shortly going on our website. Please stay tuned. Log on to www.eastmojo.com and get all the stories in depth and other big news and happenings from east and northeast of India. If you have any ideas, suggestions, any opinions, or if you come across any piece of information that you think needs verification, as we have a very active fact-checking team, please write to us at editor@eastmojo.com. You can even send us content via our Facebook page. You can send us via our Facebook page. And please stay connected with us through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. That's all. This is Simran Bajaj signing off for today.